Posted by you/Guzump. Me, 42M, with my wife, 32F, 3 years, she's meeting up with some guy I don't know. Throwaway, sorry. She knows my Reddit name. My wife joined a gym recently. She's not overweight and hasn't mentioned wanting to join before, but then a few months ago said she fancied it and off she went. Anyway, recently I noticed a guy regularly liking her Facebook comments. Not just the odd one but lots of them. I've never heard of him before, and I know most of her FB friends. I was using her phone the other day and her FB was left on. I'm not a snooper, it's just not my style, but a message popped up from the same guy and I opened it. All of their previous private conversations came up same time tomorrow. X, I'll pick you up around 4x etc. I don't know what to think. There's no sexualized talk, although each sentence ends with a X and she's never mentioned him before. Why would she not? I don't know what to do next. TLDR, what do I do about my wife's new male friend that she hasn't mentioned to me before? Now onto some comments before the update. Posted by Athlonii240. Gonna be honest, the situation doesn't look good. She doesn't talk about him, they have regular meetups, they met at the gym. None are obvious red flags, but put enough shades of pink together, and they start to darken. You could just flat out ask her what's going on. Just say I was using your phone the other day and a conversation popped up about you hanging out with this guy frequently, what's going on? She will most likely try to gaslight you and will accuse you of snooping, but as soon as that happens, if it happens, it's done for, and you've got your answer. If they have an absolute time when they meet up at the gym, like 4 o'clock or whatever, and you want to be sneaky beaky, you could see if you can get a trial account at that gym or whatever and start going there at that time and see if she's actually going to the gym at 4. Who knows, they might actually just be gym buddies. Good luck, dude. Posted by Froggy McNasty. When is she meeting up with him next? And where does it say they are meeting up? Edit, yeah, it would seem really suspicious. Where is your wife now? OP responded with, I can't get back on her FB. I don't know the password. I'm not sure when and where we are meeting, but I got the impression she was picking him up from his house. I don't really monitor her movements, so wouldn't know where she was supposed to be. Probably the gym. She's been going there a lot. Posted by aqua_zesty_man. Ask her, who is this guy who is always liking your FB posts? Where do you know him from? Ask her innocently, casually, no glaring or suspicion, because so far there isn't enough to feel suspicious about. See what she says first. If guy goes to the gym, ask if you can meet him sometime. It's not unreasonable to want to meet SO's new guy friend at least once. Posted by Somewhat Smart. What did she tell you she was doing at that time? OP responded with, she didn't tell me anything out of the ordinary that I can remember. I'm guessing the gym because she's been going there a lot. Now on to update 1. Me, 42M, with my wife, 32F, 3 years. She's meeting up with some man I don't know. I didn't want to ask her outright, so I took some of the advice I had on here and went to the gym after she got changed and went. She wasn't there. She isn't even a member. The thing is, she's acting so normal. She seems happy, pleased to spend time with me, sex is as good and as regular as ever. Anyway. Next time she goes I'm going to ask to come with her, just as she's getting into the car. TLDR, she wasn't at the gym. Not even a member. Edit, thanks for the advice. I know it may sound silly, but I just don't sense anything bad. Perhaps I'm being naive. But you're right. It does seem suspicious. I don't know what to think. I might speak to a lawyer. I'll see what happens tomorrow. Now on to the final update. Me, 42M, with my wife, 32F, 3 years, meeting up with a man I don't know. Today's conclusion. I read all of the comments and I must say, you had me convinced that she was cheating. I know most suggested spending money on lawyers/GPS/private investigators and stuff, but I needed to know for myself, so I stuck with the original plan. As she was getting into the car I came out and said, hang on, I'm coming too. I've been thinking about losing weight and you don't want to be married to a fat F like me. She laughed and said, don't be daft, you're not fat. But it will be brill if you join too, then we can do the sauna stuff. So, we set off in completely a different direction of the gym. I asked her about the local gym, and she laughed again and said, how much money do you think we have? Apparently the gym near us is really expensive. Then the best bit, she then pulls over and out of this house comes the guy, Steve, built like a boxer and climbs into the car in another, slightly smaller As soon as they get in, all my worries disappear. This was Steve, pronounced Evan, as camp as they come, and then proceeded to flirt with me. The other guy was his boyfriend. When we got home later, I asked her about him on FB and she said, if I said it emptied the bin he'd like it. Then I showed her the Reddit posts and she laughed and said, why didn't you just ask me who he was? And then she laughed again when she read I went to the wrong gym. She said some unflattering things about 1 or 2 messages, but I don't care. All is well. TLDR, wrong gym, gay dude. Edit, I'm a little overwhelmed by the massive response this got. I thought there were just a few people following the story. My gut feeling was that there was nothing wrong because everything else just seems so normal, like I said in the first posts. I feel a bit bad, and a bit daft, about checking up and misleading her, but she just found it funny. We don't normally go into detail about who we are with and where we are going. I play football and she's probably met 2 of my friends and would have no idea who I collect in my car when I go. She doesn't hang out with him. They attend the same box fit class and sometimes she's picked him up en route. Anyway, that's it. I can go back to using my proper account now. Thanks everyone, including the ones who tried to convince me I was practically divorced and broke. Now on to the last story. Posted by u/throwaway28373822. AITA for forcing my son to cut his hair? I, 57M, have a 16-year-old son I'll call F. When F was younger, like 3 or 4, he had shoulder-length hair that the whole family liked, but when he was 5, he wanted to cut it because he didn't think he looked like a boy. My wife and I agreed, and he was happy with the style until he was 8. He started to like the idea of longer hair again, but my wife had 2 problems with it. His hair started to grow back thicker and wavier, and he didn't put that much effort into brushing it as he would when it was shorter, making him look sloppy. My wife had started making me take him to cut his hair every few months, which usually resulted in him getting upset, and during the early years of that it'd result in tears as well. This most recent haircut came with the worst reaction yet. During the pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere for him to cut his hair, so it started to grow out really long, resembling something like that one teacher from the anime about students with superpowers. After the shops reopened, he had been getting lucky and there would always be something getting in the way of him getting his hair cut, allowing him to keep his hair the way he wanted. However, him and my wife had gotten into an argument over his hair and she kept saying he needed to start keeping it short to look presentable for people as he looked sloppy, and made a big deal about how he never brushed his hair, while he countered it with the fact that he has nobody to look presentable for as he has no friends and doesn't want to make any. His school only requires students to go in person once a week, and he doesn't even leave the house to go anywhere else. He also talked about how he takes good care of his hair, and he does brush and style it, she just didn't like the way he does it. My wife had continued to complain to me saying how his hair needed to be cut by the end of last week, and to put an end to it after his class last week I drove straight to the nearest barber shop and made him cut his hair. After it was done it had gone from past his shoulders to barely reaching his eyebrows. He's been ignoring both my wife and I since then and only leaves the house to hang out with his sister in her room or get something to eat after we're already sleeping. AITA? Now on to some comments. Posted by LunaticBZ, YTA. 110%. I think it's safe to assume that hair isn't the only issue that you control and belittle your child on many decisions. Which would explain why he has no friends, and most likely will struggle with mental health for the rest of his life. If this is real, change now. Scorchy Song responded with, there's definitely more to this than hair. It's unusual for a 16-year-old to be that socially self-isolated, and for neither parent to realize is a failure on their part. Jenny from the block responded with, the kid is 16 years old. Old enough to drive a car. But he can't choose how he wants to wear his hair because mommy thinks it looks messy? There is absolutely no need for this level of control over a 16-year-old. I had to go back and reread because I kept thinking the kid was 6 and not old enough to take care of his own hair. These parents are abusing this kid by infantilizing him and isolating him. I feel so sorry for this boy. YTA big time, and I hope you can see the irreparable damage you are doing to your son. He and your relationship with him may never recover. Silent Appearance 78 responded with, exactly. Also, he is 16 and is learning to express himself and they still treating him like a little boy. How he wears his hair should be up to him. This is so controlling. My high school boyfriend had hair down to the middle of his back. I respected how he went against the norms and expressed his individuality, plus it made him look like a dark-haired Kurt Cobain. Let your kid have his own identity up. He is too old for mommy and daddy dictating what he wears and how he wears his hair. Keep it up and don't be surprised if he goes no contact with you both in the future. Also, Op you the AH. Posted by Quirky Wolfie. YDA, it's his hair not yours. Forcing someone to cut their hair against their will is abuse. Cutting someone's hair forcibly is abuse. Cutting someone's hair should never be used as a punishment. Cutting hair should never be a threat. Yeah, his hair is long and untidy, but you're still an AH. You have absolutely no right to force someone to cut their hair. You and your wife are heading the right way to have zero contact with your child once he moves out.